So friends, Donald Trump just told us again what he intends to do to American democracy. He's letting us know he is an aspiring dictator. For gosh sakes, believe him. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Well friends, Donald Trump just doubled down on his plan, his announced plan to end American democracy. First, he tells us that he intends to be a dictator on day one. And now, he tells a crowd clearly, expressly, and repeatedly that if they go to the polls in November and vote him in, the American people will never vote again. Believe him. Let's start with the new reporting. This from Huffpost. Headline: Trump tells crowd you won't have to vote again after election. In bizarre remarks. Can I take exception with the part of the headline that suggests these are bizarre remarks? This is Heartland Trump. He's told us over and over again he intends to end American democracy. How many times does he have to tell us? In how many ways does he have to tell us? It's time we all believe him and vote accordingly. The article begins, GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump told Christians on Friday to vote, quote, just this time, and said they, quote, won't have to do it anymore after the election in November. Quote, you won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore. The former president told the crowd at the Believers Summit, a faith-focused event in Florida. Quote, you've got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have fixed it so good, you're not going to have to vote. It's unclear what Trump was referring to in his remarks. Really? It was unclear. Friends, what was unclear about Donald Trump repeatedly saying, you won't have to vote again. You won't get to vote again. Americans won't vote again if I'm elected. What is unclear about that? We need to stop with the bullshit editorializing and pretending Donald Trump doesn't mean what he is saying. He means it. He's dead serious. Dead serious. Yes, all my editorial edition. The article continues. He, Trump, has previously said that he'd act like a dictator only on day one of a second term, called for the termination of articles of the Constitution, attempted a coup to remain in the White House, and appeared to float the idea of serving a third presidential term. You know, friends, nothing about what Donald Trump is saying is bizarre. Nothing about what Donald Trump is saying is unclear. And if we continue to suggest it's unclear, and if we continue to ignore his dictatorial promises, well then we're just sleepwalking toward the end of our republic. And it's time to wake up. You know, right after I saw the reporting about Donald Trump's latest promise, latest threat that the American people will never vote again if he is elected into office, here's the first thing I posted. This man is a criminal and an aspiring dictator. Our institutions of government should have addressed his criminality the minute he left office on January 20th, 2021. Yes, we will vote him out. Yes, we will vote him guilty on November 5, but our institutions must stop coddling the ruling class criminals. And friends, that's what it boils down to. Our institutions of government, particularly those institutions, those agencies, those organizations that are responsible for enforcing the laws of our nation, essentially turned a blind eye to Donald Trump's criminality, both the crimes he committed while he was president, the crimes he committed in a desperate, unconstitutional attempt to retain the power of the presidency after he lost the presidential election, and the crimes he has committed since leaving office. The institutions of government have not been up to the task. They have not risen to meet the urgency of the moment. I've said this before in earlier videos. If it were up to me, the minute Donald Trump left office on January 20th, 2021, he would have been indicted. He would have been arrested for, among other things, the crimes he committed while in office, like bribery and extortion of President Zelensky, the crimes he committed while in office, like as many as 10 felony obstruction of justice crimes that are meticulously documented in Volume 2 of the Trump-Russia Mueller report, and so many other crimes Donald Trump committed while in office. The prevailing wisdom was he could be indicted the day he left office, and yet the institutions of government failed to meet the urgency of that moment. In fact, my former beloved home, the Department of Justice, took a back seat. It required a congressional investigation. The January 6th House Select Committee investigating the crimes of Donald Trump and exposing them in public hearings to we the people. And then that somehow prodded DOJ into wakefulness, and DOJ started investigating. Too little, too late. Hopefully that won't prove to be fatal, but too little, too late. And the reason Donald Trump is in a position to be the Republican nominee for the presidency again is because the institutions of government responsible for enforcing the laws of our nation have not met the challenge of the moment. That's something that we need to fix. We need to do a serious autopsy on how our institutions have failed us and allowed Donald Trump, an avowed aspiring dictator who just promised that the American people would not vote again if they voted him into office just one more time. How the institutions of government let this happen. Let it come to this. We need to do some serious soul searching, and we need to reform the institutions of government so this never happens again. Yes, we will vote Donald Trump out on November 5th, and that is important, critically important, if we want to keep our republic. And when we go to the polls, you've heard me say this before, friends, yes, we will enthusiastically be voting for Kamala Harris, assuming she wins the nomination, and I believe she will. But we will also be voting against Donald Trump. As I've said before, we the people are now we the jury. We've been selected. We've been selected as the final jury that will sit in judgment of Donald Trump between now and November 5th, because the Supreme Court has brought all of Donald Trump's criminal cases to a screeching halt. But we, the jury, will vote on November 5th. We will vote Donald Trump guilty. And then we damn well better go about repairing the institutions of government so that we don't let this happen again. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.